very special open door, of course, where we get to present our travel awards and hear a little bit. And I will be asking the recipients who are there to speak to us for just 1 minute today, when I call them up. So get to hear a little bit about what's going on in the Institute, as well as recognise the amazing people that we have in the organisation. But can I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we're on? For me, it's the land of the Wurundjeri people, and pay my respects on behalf of us all to their elders past, present and emerging. We feel that deeply. And for those of us who were at a smoking ceremony a couple of weeks ago out the front there in Faulkner Park, made a very big impact on us as we work toward the crucial referendum on the voice that this institute has expressed its strong support for. Welcome to all of you who are online, all our staff, all our students, and of course to donors, who many of you who are in attendance. Of course, we can't have travel awards without your generous funding. And it's, of course, particularly important to have travel awards. It's not a luxury. Of course, we know that travel is an essential part of science. Travel for conferences, of course, travel to see collaborators, travel for learning in some way, shape or form. Business we're in is a global business. And, so it's just absolutely crucial that it happens. And yet it's not core funding. When you get a grant to do a piece of research, the travel very rarely comes with it. And so we need to find a way to support that travel. Many of our working groups try and do it anyway, but the way the Institute tries to support it is through these travel awards. And of course, for us to support it, we need donors. So thank you so much to those donors, which I'll speak about a little bit about each one as we go through. But I do want to stress that it's very catalytic what you do as donors. To get somebody to go to that meeting where they get to present their work, where others learn from that, where they get to see other people's work, they learn from that, and those essential elements go into their thinking for what they plan to do next. It's absolutely catalytic. Sometimes it can appear like relatively small things to do, to send somebody to a conference in Perth or something, but it can be absolutely fundamentally changing to the way they do their work and to the sort of jobs that they might go to and so on. So thanks so much to the donors. Thank you especially to the judges. Now these applicants are agonized over. There were 58 applicants. We're going to hear from Rafi in a moment, but I think this is many more than we've had in the past, possibly double or so from what we've had in previous years. The committee is chaired by Rafi Gagason, as it has been for a number of years. Thanks so much, Rafi. We greatly appreciate the care that you take, and your team of Paul Gilson, Anna Wilkinson, Caroline Homer, Lindy Mason, Peter Higgs, and Shan Huang. Some new, some have done it for a few years. It's a lot of work, but it's greatly appreciated, especially by the applicants, to know that their application has been agonised over. Not everyone can win. We have 21 awards this year. So for those who haven't won, please don't be despondent. This is, I hope, a step toward winning, and so please keep those applications coming in and use this process to see what might help improve it for next time. Please keep trying. The whole business of grants and fellowships and so on is there always more that miss out in any one round than win, but hopefully in the end all get the support that they need. So with that, I'm going to ask Rafi to say a few words and to announce the winner of the first prize for reasons that will become obvious. And as I said at the beginning, I'd like to ask the winners to say kind of what they do and what they plan to do with the award, but in less than a minute, if that's at all possible, or about a minute. I know I'm giving an impossible task, but we do want to hear from you, and just a sense of, the breadth and excitement of the work that's going on, and of course, what, if you may not know, but what you want to do with the Travel Awards. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Rafi. I'd love to hear a little bit about the process, Rafi, and then please make the first award announcement.
Thanks, Brendan. Appreciate the opportunity. Firstly, on behalf of the Travel Awards panel, these awards wouldn't be possible with numerous players who have contributed. Of course, our donors, as you've mentioned, Brendan, absolutely invaluable to helping early career researchers at the Burnet Institute. Also, people in the trusts and foundations team, Andrea Aikens and Paul Rathbone, who have every year contributed to making this process possible. In terms of the panel, very, very grateful to panel members, and it would be remiss of me not to mention Caroline Homer, who facilitated with the executive committee those extra awards that you've mentioned, Brendan, due to the unprecedented number of applications that we had. 58 was a huge challenge for the committee. As you mentioned, each application was discussed and reviewed, and every opportunity was given to the applicants. And I'm grateful to Anna Wilkinson for facilitating feedback to each applicant so that we can assist them in hopefully being successful in future years, and of course support their development in a research career. I guess in terms of the applications and the award categories that you've touched on, we're grateful to have so many award categories. And this year we've had the Dora Lush Travel and Academic Excellence Award. And this year commemorates the 80th year of her passing. And we're extremely grateful for the family of Dora Lush to continue to support this award and make it possible to continue to support our students. Brendan, the Dora Lush Award is essentially open to any student, all gender inclusive, who is a parent, a carer of young children, and making it available for international conference travel and professional development across the biomedical research sector or public health or international health. And the fellowship itself supports childcare and partner travel. It comes to the sum of $12,000, which is a significant amount, and we really hope that it supports the career development. And without further delay, it's a real pleasure to announce the winner of the 2023 Dora Lush Award, which this year was Michelle Scoullar. Michelle, congratulations. Excellent application, and the competition was extremely tough, and we also thank the other applicants for submitting their applications. But Michelle, on this occasion, congratulations, and in 1 minute, I'll let you comment on Brendan's question. Over to you, Michelle.
Thanks very much, Rafi, and thanks very much to the committee and, of course, to the family of Dora Lush to provide this opportunity. I guess, if I was Brendan, I would probably say that I can never take a minute and make you sit here for 20, but I will not do that. So this award will give me, or has already actually supported a conference I went to in South Africa, which was incredible. And there's been some really interesting connections since that time, and some possible opportunities coming as a result of that. And I'm hoping to have it support another conference overseas as well in the next sort of few months, to present the work that the HMHB team and I have been doing around STIs in pregnancy and their impact on birth weight. So we're hoping to shift the impression that Mycoplasma genitalium is an infection that does not cause harm, and help people understand that in fact it does.
Thanks, Michelle. We absolutely tip our hats to parents who are raising little ones while also furthering their careers, and it's an outstanding achievement, and we wish you all the best, Michelle. Brendan, I'll hand over to you to continue on. Thanks, everyone.
Huge thanks again, Rafi, to you and to the team, and no thanks at all to me for anything to do with any of these awards, actually. It's certainly not that one. The Dora Lush story is a really interesting one, and it's worth, if you haven't, I do speak about it most years, so I'm not going to again this year, but completely fascinating. A researcher working with Burnet who died after a lab accident with an organism that causes scrub typhus. And so that's a tragic and interesting backstory. And then how her name really became famous and synonymous with student awards and so on in Australia. The NHMRC have a major student awards that are the Dora Lush Awards and scholarships. So sometimes things happen, and out of a tragedy has come, so much good through the people that have been supported in her name. So another award, the Margaret Harrison Parental Leave Grant, as it's called, an $8,000 parental leave grant. So this is to support a staff member on parental leave or returning from parental leave, and in the different circumstances that you can imagine, of which there are a whole bunch of them that are very relevant to those people who need assistance. It's my pleasure to announce that the winner of the Margaret Harrison Parental Leave Grant is Stephanie Levy from the Health Emergencies Project. And Steph, I hope you are online.
I'm here, Brendan. Thank you.
Great. What are you going to do with it?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Much less than a minute. No, thank you, really. I think Michelle highlighted how important it is for us to be able to continue. I didn't realize it was going to be such a challenge, balancing the baby and the return to work. So it's really been wonderful to know that this actual award exists, because I paid originally for my mother to come as a carer so I could go attend a conference, the One Health conference in Singapore, because I didn't want to miss out. Then I discovered that actually something already exists to support us for these kind of activities. So looking forward, and funnily enough, my daughter's name is Zara Harrison, so a bit of a coincidence there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, good luck for that. The plan really is moving forward, just again to continue to be able to travel with a carer, to be able to take my daughter, which means I'll be able to stay for a little bit longer on work trips, because it's just essential, I think, being a project manager, to be able to be part of the meetings, the trips, and be there with the technical teams who are on the ground to continue to meet the stakeholders. So yeah, I'm really grateful to be able to do that.
No, fantastic. Thanks so much, Steph. And really easy for us to say how support for people with childcare responsibilities, which is obviously mostly female, it's to just say that and to give awards, but the challenges are enormous, and they go way beyond the one or two travel awards that we can give. We acknowledge all of those who are struggling to make it all work. we'll continue to do what we can. Very keen on hearing those stories and finding ways to make it happen, that you can continue to parent and be a researcher. It should be possible to do both, but my gosh, it's a challenge. And so to all of you who are in that boat, we're thinking of you and want you to find a way to continue and to do a help, and just to speak to us about finding ways to help you. It is a pleasure to move on to an award that is just one of ours, Domestic Travel Award, it's called. It's open to all staff, students and postdocs for domestic conference travel. So just those, that meeting you need to go to. It sounds, I mentioned the Perth one, maybe that's expensive, but that trip to Canberra or something that seems relatively trivial, but again is actually not. It's that gathering, in-person gathering, that is really important. So these are $1,000 travel awards. We have 5 of them. I'm going to read those 5 names out, and hopefully we will have the winners there able to speak to us. I'm just looking at my thing. We may only have 3 of you. I'm not sure, but it's my pleasure to announce the winners as Brendan Harney, Steph Munari, Coralie Boulay, and Amy Ultimate. Congratulations to all 5 of you. Oh, I've missed one, which because there was a question mark as to whether she's attending, and that's Rachel Smith. So I'm going to start with Brendan. Brendan, are you there?
Hello, I am here. Can you hear me?
Great. Yes, we can. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for the travel award. So I actually got really great value out of the Domestic Travel Award by going to the International AIDS Society conference, because it was only up in Brisbane. So yeah, that finished just on Wednesday. So very recently went up there and presented some of my PhD work on hepatitis C among gay and bisexual men. Met up with a few different collaborators, both current and future. So yeah, good opportunity to present my work. And as you said at the start, Brendan, these traveling to conferences is always a lot. You get a bit more out of them than just emailing people. So yeah, really appreciate it once again. And I'd just like to say, I've been at the Burnet since 2016, and I've applied every year. And I've only gotten an award in the last couple. So definitely keep on applying if you don't win one, because you might eventually. Thanks so much.
Thank you for that encouragement. And we heard just at the seminar that Lindy Mason presented so brilliantly just a week ago about I can't remember the exact timing, Lindy, but it must have been 5 or more years of trying to get a paper published. I think it was more than 5 years. Same deal. It's the nature of our business. Things can just be so disappointing, and they are disappointing. That can never be taken away, but hopefully never despondent enough not to keep at it, and things do come your way. So thanks for that reminder, Brendan, and congratulations. Stephanie, are you there?
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Thank you very much for the travel award to Burnet and donors. I've already used it all up. I went to Perth last month and to the Communicable Diseases and Immunisation Conference, where I presented on some of the first part of my PhD research on chlamydia retesting and reinfection rates among young women in Australia. And myself and Jason Athelin, the manager of the Access program, was there as well. And we had some people come and talk to us from the Northern Territory about access sites up there. So, hoping it might lead to some more those catalytic events with some more collaboration there. So thank you very much.
No, thanks, Steph. Thanks for that. And congratulations. Now, Rachel, I believe, is in Vanuatu, not holidaying, but actually running a workshop.
No, she's not holidaying. She's running a workshop, Brendan, and she's very delighted for this travel award. I think she's also already used it to go to the International Confederation of Midwives conference in Bali that we attended a month or so ago. So she was really delighted to win the award this time. So, and again, like Brendan, I think it's her at least 2nd, maybe 3rd time of applying.
I'm really glad we're getting these stories because it's very important message. Congratulations, Rachel, if you're watching the recording of this, and thank you, Caroline. Coralie, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
in the lab.
In the lab. So thanks for the travel awards. I'm going to use it to go to Darwin to the Australian Society for Parasitology conference. So it's a big conference that happens every year. I missed the last one, but it's a big one to go to if you work with parasites. And I'm going to be presenting some of my work I've been doing during my postdoc on developing an anti-malarial drug. So we have this compound that is targeting a new target, lipid transfer protein, and it's very exciting work. So that's going to be nice, and probably going to be my last conference in Australia. So yeah.
For a little while, not forever, but just for a little
I'm hoping that it's also the last I have to take a plane for. I'm hoping to rely on the train afterwards.
Yeah, I feel similarly, but no, that's good. And I will see you in Darwin, I think is the plan. So congratulations, Coralie. And I'm thinking, Amy, my notes here say might be absent, but just checking. Amy, are you there? Nope. Amy from the Modelling and Biostats Working Group. I'm not sure if there is anyone from that group that can tell us about what Amy...
Is that Amy Ultimate?
Yep, Amy Ultimate.
What did she get it for?
Don't know. She's got a domestic travel fellowship to go somewhere.
Well, Amy has been doing fantastic work on the Optimise study. So she works across the Optimise study and into the modelling group. And she's been doing a whole lot of work on the Optimise study, which is the longitudinal cohort study that we've been following to do with people in Melbourne and sort of looking at the direct and indirect impacts of COVID and the public health response. And so Amy's been doing a lot of the analysis and the modelling related to that, working with Anna Wilkinson and Nick Scott, and has produced some really lovely pieces of work and is just working on a really fantastic piece of work around COVID and long COVID.
Thanks for that, Margaret. And please pass on our congratulations to Amy. And now to 2 awards from the Miller Foundation. I will say these are relatively modest awards too, at $1,000, but very prestigious. The Millers are very special to Burnet and a few other organisations, particularly MCRI. It's a family foundation that Andrew and Jean Miller at the moment oversee on behalf of the family. They share it around with other siblings and relatives over time, and they've been very generous donors to the organisation for many years. Indeed, in fact, I spoke to Andrew last night, which is not unusual. And then it just kind of, I think, through their scientist niece, who I happen to completely independently know and didn't know they were connected. Recognize they don't come from a science background, recognize the importance of travel, just as I described earlier, how catalytic, just a small investment can be. And yet if there isn't those travel funds, then something doesn't happen, even though it might be a relatively small sum. And so here's their contribution, sort of an ongoing 2 awards of $1,000 each for public health research and for biomedical research, both of them open to all staff, students and postdocs for travel in their field. So it's looking like we have 2 winners in public health and 2 winners in biomedical research. So there's $4,000 total in these awards. And in public health, it's Jenny Cow. I hope you're there, Jenny, and Emily Adamson, who is a question mark here, who I'm not sure is there, but congratulations to Jenny and Emily. And Jenny, I hope you are there.
Hi, Brendan, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good to see you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to have this opportunity. Again, like others, I applied last year and was unsuccessful, so very happy to present my research later this year in October at the Federation of International Obstetrics and Gynecology conference in Paris. So very much looking forward to that. My research was on abortion services in the Pacific, which I did a number of years under Caroline Homer and Elise Wilson as part of my master's dissertation. So post-COVID, very happy to be having this opportunity to go to Paris to present my research and share about abortion in the Pacific.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks so much for that. And good luck with that travel.
I'm not sure whether Emily's online, Brendan, but for those that don't know, Emily, from if you're in other groups and Emily has been running really the It's Your Right campaign for EC Australia. This is a national campaign, which was a community co-design, a fantastic piece of work that she's sort of working closely with Elisa Padrana and all the ECA team led, and we'll be presenting that work. So yeah, it's a really standout piece of work in the hepatitis space.
Thanks, Margaret, and please congratulate Emily in absentia. And the two Miller Foundation Biomedical Research Awards have been won by Catherine O'Flaherty and Lydia Kurtovich. Congratulations to both Lydia and Catherine. I think Lydia's away, so if somebody is there from James's group or James, you can speak to that. But we'll start with Catherine, if you are there. I think you are.
Hi, Brendan. Thank you. And thank you so much to the Miller Foundation and also to the panel for awarding me this travel award. I'm going to be traveling to Bangkok, hopefully later in the year, to the International Tropical Medicine meeting to present some work I've been doing on the role of immunity in the clearance of subclinical vivax malaria. And I'm also hoping to meet with a number of our collaborators in the Southeast Asian region there and have meetings with them.
Fantastic. Thank you. And congratulations. And anybody there that can, if Lydia's not there, James, are you there?
Brendan.
Oh, you are there. Great. Thanks.
Sorry, I'm just on my phone. So
no worries.
Yeah, Lydia's away at the moment, but she is going to be traveling to a meeting in the US, the American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene, which is the largest meeting for malaria researchers, and presenting her work on understanding how the RTSS malaria vaccine works and why the efficacy is relatively modest and why it's quite short-lived, and how we might use that knowledge to develop more protective and long-lasting vaccines. So that's what she'll be off to. Thanks.
Thanks, James. Work I know well, and it's really making quite the impact in our field in the world. So congratulations to Lydia. And it's a meeting I wish I was going to too. Actually, it's a fantastic international meeting in our space. And the next award is the Jeffrey Stewardson Travel Award. It's open to all staff, students and postdocs working in the field of HIV for international travel, award of $2,000. We're very grateful that this funding came our way, and it's been a prize that's been given for quite some years. And it's my pleasure to announce that Sarah Amir Hamaz from the HIV Inflammation and Microbiome Working Group has won the award this year. Sarah, I am hoping you are there.
Yep, I'm here.
There you are. Hi.
Hi.
People just pop up on my screen. I can't see anything, and then boom, it happens.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brendan. And of course, thank you so much to the committee for awarding me this award. And of course, thank you to the donors as well for allowing me to sort of use this opportunity to sort of utilize the travel award to, I guess, further not just my understanding, but my lab's understanding as well of HIV and its sort of mechanisms. So my lab work sort of focuses more on the vaginal microbiome and how that's associated with HIV acquisition. And hopefully I can use this travel award for next year's HIV Research for Prevention Conference next year in Lima, Peru, and maybe potentially present my work. But if not, then meet other researchers in the field and, to be up to date with any current HIV prevention research.
Thanks so much, Sarah. And just made me think, I'd love to have a live map up at the moment of the world showing where everyone, we've gone from South Africa to Paris to Perth to Brisbane to Peru, and a whole bunch of other places. Isn't Science World amazing? We need a demonstration that we're in the global business. You know, for people who are not involved in science, but interested in our work. So it might be policymakers or politicians or donors. So they probably the most common question I get asked is how do you know you're not just doing something that anyone else is doing? You know, how do you? So I think there's not a great appreciation that our science world is one world. You know, it's just one world of people working on a particular problem, Sarah, like you've just mentioned. And we get together and we see those people and we talk to them, and you know, everyone, you sometimes compete on something, but I think, you know, that notion that it's just one global community is something you don't really appreciate unless you're in it. And so fantastic stories. Thanks, Sarah, and thanks to everybody who's been telling us their little travel story. The next prize is the Geoffrey Conard Travel Grant. Geoffrey Conard was politician, actually, and he was the Burnet's first chairman, as he was known at the time, chairs as we know them now, and instrumental, as you might imagine, in the Institute actually coming about. He's one of the, you know, sort of founders, really, of having us come out of the ashes of the Fairfield Infectious Diseases Hospital, which is really who we were in the past, to form this independent, not-for-profit organisation that we are now. And so it's fantastic that we have little ways of recognising. You'll see his name up around the Institute as well. But we have this travel grant of $2,000 open to all staff, students and postdocs with a certain amount of experience, so 5 to 10 years of experience from the time they obtained their highest degree. So it's, not for those starting out. And the winner, in fact, we've got 2 winners, I hope. We'll find out in a moment. Annie McDougall and Clarissa Moreda. And congratulations to both Annie and Clarissa from the Global Women's and Newborns Health Working Group in Annie's case, and the Malaria Immunity and Vaccines Working Group in Clarissa's case. Annie, are you there, I hope? Am I about to get the pop-up on the screen or not? If not,
I don't know
Caroline?
if she's with us, Brendan. I'm just trying to find her on the thing. No. So Annie's one of our group who's in the last couple of years made a big transition from being a basic life scientist to being a public health, global health person.
It is big.
So that's a big shift for her. So yeah. I think this will be to attend her first conference as a public health, global health person rather than a basic life scientist. So it's a very exciting new shift for Annie, and she's been working on the work on AIM, which is designing and developing the mechanisms behind where new drugs will then come from. So it's a big piece of work led by Josh Vogel, and Annie's been doing a huge amount of work leading that. So we're really, really thrilled with this award for her.
Yeah, thanks. Please pass on our congratulations, and what a transition, actually really exciting one, especially for us at Burnet, who like to have that broad discipline, to have someone who's really comfortable in the different domains is just fantastic. And Clarissa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Hi, congratulations.
Thank you very much. And thanks very much for the award. So I'm planning to use the travel grant to go to PNG for the medical symposium in September. So my research is, so I'm in the final stages of my PhD, and my research has been looking at infant growth using some data from the HMHB study. So I wasn't directly involved in the study setup and the study being run. And I was planning to go to PNG in 2020 and then again in 2021, and we know what happened with that. So it's nice. I finally feel like I've got the personal and professional space to travel again. So it's really nice to have this award to help support that work. So I'll be presenting some of my PhD research, and hopefully a few side meetings to discuss the findings with our partners over there as well. I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet, so I'm looking forward to it. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Clarissa. A new pin on our map. Yeah, so you had to wait for other reasons, not just for applications not being successful. Yeah, COVID got in the way of a lot of travel. And the really, I mean, it's just, I was meant to say it earlier, but we're doing it today. Zoom can be used for a lot of things, and I think it's given us a lot. It's given us the capacity to meet regularly like we are doing, but it is no substitute for being together. No complete substitute for being together. So it was a big issue in our world, in a lot of worlds, but in our worlds to not be able to travel for those years. And we're all sort of hungry for it now. So congratulations, Clarissa. Good luck with that. To the Pauline Speedy Biomedical Research Award, a $5,000 prize. The late Pauline Speedy and her partner, Jenny Tatchell, are very precious to the Institute, is to show an awful lot of interest, and Jenny still does, in everything that we do. As relatively lay people, their interest in our work and the ambassadorial nature in which they went out to say how great Burnet was just extraordinary. So very special to us to have this prize. When Pauline very sadly died, Jenny provided the funding really for this award in her name and in her honour. So it's open to a PhD student working in any field of infectious disease research. And the winner, very proud to announce, is Dulcie Lautu. And I think Dulcie is attending and there. Congratulations, Dulcie.
Thanks, Burnet, and thanks, everyone. I'd like to say thank you to the funders, the Pauline Speedy Fund, and to the committee for considering my application this year. So thank you so much. I plan to use the Travel Award to attend the Joint International Tropical Medicine Conference at the end of this year in Thailand to present some of my work that I'm doing in part of my PhD, which is looking at antimalarial drug resistance, the molecular markers of resistance in Papua New Guinea. And of course, I'd also like to travel back home to present some of this data to stakeholders and people that we're working with on the ground, just to really showcase what we've found in terms of the parasite diversity and antimalarial drug resistant levels, genetic diversity and mutations that we've identified in parasites in PNG. So important data and results for stakeholders and partners, and also to showcase that the contribution that Burnet has in terms of providing support and, partaking in malaria control and drug resistant surveillance, and also capacity building in terms of supporting my PhD. So thank you, everyone. And yes, especially to the judging panel. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dulcie, very much. So there'll be 2 trips out of that. I take it that the PNG trip's not planned yet, so you're still not
planned. But yeah, but definitely the one at the end of the year in Thailand. Yep, that's one important. Yep.
No, thanks. I think Thailand, we've already got a pin on our in Bangkok on our map, but great that somebody else is going there too. Congratulations. And our next 2 winners are named after Harold Mitchell. Harold Mitchell is still very much with us. Again, completely diverse story. Harold is not a scientist. He's an advertising guy, and he's one of Australia's most famous advertisers. Interestingly enough, I think Harold's most famous ad was the Grim Reaper campaign back in the 80s. Campaign that shocked the country, really. It's a campaign that we still talk about, but I think Harold has explained to me it was in the days of course, no internet. It was on TV, and it only ran for 12 weeks, and yet really transformed how policymakers viewed HIV. He's a brilliant advertiser and built a considerable fortune actually through it, and really has spent much of his decades, in the 15 years or so that I've known him, in giving back. He gives is $15,000 to the Institute here in these two prizes, $7,500 each, one for postgrad travel fellowship, one for postdoctoral travel fellowship. And he does that for each one of Victoria's 14 medical research institutes. So, you know, multiply 14 by 15,000 is a very significant annual donation that Harold makes. And he has been a long-time chair of the Howard Florey Medical Research Institute, Neurosciences Medical Research Institute, a passionate advocate and supporter of medical research, more than his donations here. And we're really grateful to Harold. In fact, he helped launch Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies in PNG, in a story, longer story for another day, but it was really a spectacular event that just wouldn't have happened without Harold. So it's another special person for the Institute from a very different background. His post-grad travel fellowships open to senior PhD students studying in any field in at least their third year of their full-time study. It's my great pleasure to announce that the winner is Ellen Carney from Malaria Infectious Disease Epidemiology Working Group. And I know she's absent, at least my notes saying Ellen is absent. Is there anyone who can speak to Ellen's amazing work and what she might do with it, and who can pass on our congratulations?
Hi, Brendan. I can probably quickly speak on Ellen's behalf.
Great.
I'm sure she would want to express her gratitude as well for this award. Ellen has just submitted her PhD thesis and is taking a much needed break, but she'll be attending the ASTMH conference in Chicago later in the year to present some really exciting work she's been doing on serological markers of vector exposure.
Great, thank you. So another pin in Chicago. Well, please pass on our congratulations to Ellen for handing in, as well as for winning the prize. And the postdoc travel fellowship, and I'll get these because this is important to the applicants, open to postdoctoral fellows studying in any field of no more than 5 years postdoc experience. So those in their early postdoc time, soon after their PhD. So we can say to Ellen, she can go again in the next few years for the next Harold Mitchell Foundation Fellowship. And my pleasure to announce the winner is Michael Curtis from the Justice Health, Hep B and Liver Cancer and Alcohol and Other Drugs Working Groups. Michael, I hope you are there.
I am,
Congratulations.
yes. Thank you very much, Brendan, and thank you to Burnet, donors and the judging panel. So I'm planning to use these funds to attend the College on Problems of Drug Dependence Conference and the NIDA International Forum in Montreal early next year. And then while in North America, I've also got a pretty long list of international researchers that I'm hoping to visit, who are all operating prospective cohort studies. So these are cohorts in Montreal, Vancouver, San Francisco, New York, and Baltimore. And I'm hoping to link up with them to explore opportunities to undertake some pooled analyses to quantify the burden of non-communicable diseases amongst people who use drugs, to then hopefully leverage that work to inform some pilot interventions to support improved health amongst people who are using drugs. While I'm there, I'm also hoping to visit some of the innovative international harm reduction implementation science work that's happening over there. So particularly keen to go and visit Nadine Cronfley at McGill and learn about some of the prison-based needle and syringe program work that's happening there, and even visit the first prison-based drug consumption room in the world. And also want to try and get down to Brown University's harm reduction lab to learn about some of their work with wearable overdose detection devices. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael. And fascinating, innovative stuff, actually, especially that prison room. I'd love to hear more about that. And you've given us a lot more pins to put on our map, not just Montreal, but it sounds like we can put about half a dozen on there. So thank you for that as well. Congratulations. And our next award is Gender Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Travel Fellowship on the Institute gives out. And we have 2 prizes here, and they're big ones of $10,000 open to the primary care of young children for international conference travel across any of our disciplines. And the fellowship supports childcare and supporting partner travel. We have 2 winners. One I think is absent, unfortunately. That's Elisa Padrana from the Infectious Disease Implementation Science, HIV and STI Prevention Working Groups. And Hayley Bullen, who I hope is here from the Malaria Virulence and Drug Discovery Working Group, which is the one I'm in, as it happens. Congratulations to Elisa. Can I just check first if she's not there?
No, she's
Margaret,
on holiday,
if
Brendan.
you're willing to speak to that. Thank you.
I mean, I think a number of people in the organisation would know Elisa, but Elisa has been running Eliminate C Australia program, which is the Paul Ramsay funded and now the Institute supported initiative, where she has overseen the management of over 20 projects nationally, as well as the big health promotion. You're right, as well as numerous other components of that work. It's been an extraordinary effort. She's done a superb job, and I'm sure that she'll, get to travel and do some things. And this is on the back of having a small child. So yes, it's a.
But we don't know specifically what she plans with this?
To be honest, I don't know, but I know she's going. So there's a couple of conferences that are going. And so she's going to INSU, which is the International Network of Hepatitis C and Substance Users in, it's being held in Geneva this year. So I assume she's going to that, but as well, Elisa's been involved in a project to do with UNITAID funded project to do with hepatitis C models of care, which is in Tanzania, Georgia and Armenia. And I suspect she'll be using some of the funds to also travel to some of those places with the implementation of that.
Fantastic. 4 more pins too. I'm going to put them in. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I said that before you, Brendan, just so you can put those
I
in.
thought you might have. News parts of the world. This is looking good. Congratulations to Elisa. Now, Hayley, I hope you are there. Congratulations.
Yep, I'm here. Yeah, thank you very much for the award. I have also actually partially used part of it as well to attend a conference earlier in the year in Heidelberg. So we work on malaria drug development. So I went to one of the big malaria conferences. Haven't been to an international conference since 2019. So it was a fantastic opportunity to reconnect with the community. Also like to just echo the sentiments of the other mothers that have spoken and just say how grateful we are to get this additional support, to be able to leave my husband at home with my 2 small children while he's also working full time, and to get some extra care help for him, for my 2 little sons is really beneficial and just makes traveling that little bit easier. So thank you, and thanks to the committee.
Thanks, Hayley. And I'm trying not to say anything like, because I've got invested interest in saying how incredibly special your work is, which it is. But thank you for that. And
not biased at all, Brendan.
Not biased. No, that's what I was trying to say, my completely unbiased way. And Hayley and I have worked together for a very long time, more than 10 years. So it's fantastic to see all your success. In fact, way more than 10 years, I suspect.
Yes, way more. Brendan, can I just jump in for a minute? Sorry, beg my apologies, but this is a really important award from the Gender Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Committee, and it was a recommendation from a couple of years ago. We did, I think this is our 3rd year, won the first year, won the second year, and fantastic to have a number of applicants this year, and we were able to award 2. So thank you to the JEDI committee for really pushing and supporting this, and of course thank you to the Institute for funding it. And it's great. I think Hayley and Alicia are 2 brilliant recipients this year, and I hope others will apply for next year as well.
Thanks, thanks so much, Caroline. I should have thrown to you before, because this is hopefully going to leave a fantastic legacy in the start of, even more things that we can do. And thanks to the committee who does so much good work for the Institute. The Crockett-Murphy Travel Award, our last award, we have 2 of them, and it's open in this case too, and something I think we can find ways to do more of in the future, open to support national staff located in our overseas programs, of course, which are based in, even though we have people all around the world, we have 2 country programs, places that we commit to in the same way we commit to Australia, really, and that's PNG and Myanmar. And so each year there's a prize of $2,500 named after 2 Burnet staff members who died really during their working life. And if Robert Power was here or Mike Toole, I might ask them to tell the stories of Sue Crockett and Claire Murphy, but they were special. Claire much more recently, and many people here on this call would have known Claire well. And this is one small way of us remembering Sue and Claire by offering these travel awards, and they're the first ones that we specifically target our overseas staff for. And as I say, I think there's a signal there that we should find other ways, but they're very to support them. But they're very prestigious. Our overseas staff, national staff based overseas, need to travel just like those here in Melbourne. So it's my pleasure to announce the 2 winners. I'm going to do one at a time because I think they are attending, and they're both attending, so we'll work through it. But from Myanmar, Dr. Win Taik, Myanmar Senior Program Manager in Health Security and Malaria. Congratulations, and I hope you are there to talk to us.
Hi, Brendan. Hi, yes.
Hi, Win.
Thank you very much, Brendan. Yeah. So thank you very much to the selection committee, and especially to my supervisors, Dr. Paul and Dr. Wing Hang, who inspired me and encouraged me to apply this travel award. So with this travel award, I'm planning to attend the annual meeting of the American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene, which is already mentioned about by James earlier. Yeah. So I'm from Friars MIDG Working Group and a PhD student based in Myanmar. And currently I'm mainly working on my PhD project, which is about the health system readiness of country in the Greater Mekong South region for malaria elimination. So as a PhD student, it is very important for me to learn new things from other researchers and to communicate and showcase my research project with the academia. So by attending this prestigious and well-recognized ASTMH annual meeting, it will provide me a really good opportunity to learn from other researchers. And it is really important, not only for my PhD study, but also for my professional career as a malaria researcher at Burnet. So I'm sure I will learn many new things out of this trip, thanks to Crockett Murphy Travel Award, and cascade this knowledge to my other colleagues from Burnet Myanmar office. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Taik. And really lovely to hear from you. It's been a while since I've been with you in Myanmar. Look forward to doing that again. I don't know when that's going to be, but as soon as I possibly can, and that it's good for me to come, I'm very, very keen to. I think the last time I was there was the beginning of 2020, ironically. Yep. Yes. And I was just blown away by what you are all doing. The talent that's there, the quality of the work is extraordinary. Your own work and that's going on throughout the Myanmar office and the collaborators that you've all formed. So look, on behalf of us all here in Melbourne, please know that that's recognised, and we are thinking of you all the time and looking for ways that science can continue to happen and grow in general, as well as, of course, specifically in our office in Myanmar. So congratulations.
Thanks, Brendan.
And the final, but definitely last but most definitely not least, is a second Crockett Murphy Travel Award winner, and it's Ruth Bala from our Daru Western Province program in PNG, who's a counsellor there. Ruth, are you there?
Yes, Brendan, I'm here. Sorry, I'm just on my phone, so I'm not able to join via video. But thank you so much, Brendan, and thank you to the committee and the donors, of course. Thank you for the travel awards. I am planning to use it to help my travel to attend the World Union Conference, which will be in Paris. on Langham. So that will be from the 15th to 18th of November this year. So I'll be presenting on how we have trained peer counselors, identifying and responding to key challenges to TB treatment, completion in Daru, which is a high burden of BRTB setting. So thank you so much. Yeah.
No, thanks, Ruth. What an extraordinary trip. Sounds like a few people are off to Paris, and thanks and congratulations on all the work you and the Daru team do. But for those who don't know, the program in Daru, the TB program in Daru, is one of Burnet's biggest, if not biggest individual activity, certainly one of the biggest individual activities. And if I was, if I had to come up with a list of the 5 great success stories in the last 10 years, it would be one of them. It's still underway, of course, but what that team has achieved in Daru is extraordinary. And I have been reflecting recently, and just a few days ago, earlier this week, the head of a PNG program, Dr Chani Kudakwasha, presented to the Burnet board, and I really did reflect then that it'd be great for us to hear more of that extraordinary story, of which you've really played a very significant part, Ruth. So congratulations. And look, that's where we'll wrap things up. It's perfectly ending here, right on time. I think it's great that we heard from everybody, and thanks to those of you who just chimed in when somebody wasn't attending, so that we could hear a little bit about, the breadth and richness of talent, of programs, of what's in store, and just the reach that these relatively small amount of money compared to perhaps what a program costs to do, but the reach and impact is amazing, and we've had a good sense of that today. Congratulations to all the winners. Commiserations to those who didn't win, but please stick at it, as you've heard a number of times. Thanks to the panel members, to the donors, to all those involved in making these prestigious awards happen, and happen with such credibility. I wish we were together to celebrate in person, but please do make sure you celebrate the wins. And we will see you all again soon. If there's nothing more, I'm happy to close this open door and look forward to the next one. Thanks
Brendan,
very
I
much.
did have something I was going to share if I had 1 second.
Yes, please.
Just as a quick note of to keep persisting for parents of young children, I wanted to, can you see that?
Yeah.
Share a quick slide of kids at the work village, and I guess shout out to the awards that help to make this possible sometimes, and when it's not with an award, the many people at work who actually help with the kids when you drag them along to work. So you can see a few familiar faces there.
Thanks. And there's Brendan Allen there with our girls, who without Brendan, that trip would have been Caroline. Oh yeah, there's Ruth. Oh my gosh, it takes a lot to do it. So no, thank you for that, Michelle. And great to see more of those awards today as just one way that we can contribute to overcoming that barrier. Thanks, everybody. See you again soon. Bye.